Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Looks like I have an issue here. I don't know what's going on. There. All right. I'm just trying to fix myself here. I don't know. Oh, I hate this. I'm trying to do this on my phone and it's not. It says I'm live, so I just don't see myself. All right. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Technology. Good morning, hour, and good evening, depending on where you are watching. Welcome to the early edition of Swahili Sunday. I'm early today because I'm going to the 9 o'clock church service, so I can't very well be at church and online. You might notice my hair is still wet. My blow dryer is dying a slow death, so it's not working too well. Gotta love it when that happens. Okay, so uh, my trip to Kenya. I'm Oh gosh, the sun is just like, I think I'm going to go back inside because it is early and I don't want to be loud for people. Anyway, let me talk about my trip to Kenya as soon as I kind of get myself situated here in my other favorite spot. So, yeah, I've been back from Kenya a week and, I'm over the jet lag, which took me a minute to get over. I don't know if you've never traveled extensively and traveled like across the US and back, or traveled anywhere, to it takes like over 30 hours to travel. My flying time was like, I guess, almost 26 hours, but when you consider the time you have to go to the airport and uh, the time in between, and then the time to get your bags and all that, it ends up being about 30 hours of travel, plus the flight from, so I flew coming back, I flew from Nairobi to Amsterdam to Portland to LAX, and I'm going to tell you all about that fun stuff in a minute. So, you guys who haven't traveled like this can kind of get an idea what it's about. Uh, but then the flight from Portland to LAX was delayed, and by this time, I'm just kind of over flying and off, having to tell Indigo to get off. Yeah, it was interesting. So the trip was amazing. I'm sure you saw all the posts. I didn't actually do a Swahili Sunday on, excuse me, last Sunday because I was coming back and I thought about doing a quick live, but I was so tired by the time I got to Portland that I couldn't even, my brain wasn't even functioning. And then I had to go to work at my job on Monday. So Monday, I was brain dead. I was attempting to work and the stuff wasn't connecting. After I got off work, I laid down on the couch and it took me several days to get past the jet lag, and now I'm past it, thankfully. That's kind of part of the traveling thing. It's easier to adjust going than it is coming back. So, like I said, the trip was amazing. We have a lot of great things planned. I'm going to save a Swahili Sunday for the plans we have for our NGO over there. We're waiting for them just to sign off on it. They have all the information they need. And we are going to actually do some growing up at Mount Elgon. And I'll explain about all of that once we get it together. It's going to be a way for some women up there to earn income, for our ladies to get things at a discount, and for us to earn some income to be able to put back into some land and start building the little shop we want to plan, and then building some real housing for the ladies. So we're going to test it out. I'll go into more detail about that. I'll get Layla on and we'll talk about that in the future Swahili Sunday. But I am doing a birthday fundraiser. Oh, by the way, my birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday to me. I've been having celebrations since Friday. My daughter took me out for tea. Uh, my uh, cohort in crime here, Vanessa, took me out for dinner on Friday. Yesterday, my son and his girlfriend took me out for lunch, and then we went out to uh, met friends for dinner at Michael's downtown in Long Beach. If you've never eaten there, you have to, and ask for Marissa. That's where my daughter works. And then today I'm going to church and I'm going to see Top Gun. So I'm just having a weekend celebration, celebrating another year on the planet that God's given me, and praying that He continues to bless me with good health so I can do the mission that He has for me in Kenya. So let me tell you about, so we had that happen when we went up to Mount Elgon. We were expecting 100 women. There were over 200 that showed up, too many to fit in the little church building. If you look on Facebook, you can find the pictures of the little church building. It was packed when we got there, and there were all these women outside. So we ended up having church on the mountain and our little conference on the mountain, and over 200 women, and it was amazing. There were a lot of pastors there. That was great. Brought back a lot of really nice product. I'll do a product rundown. I got some really nice stuff, some new little spoons that are really cute, new purses. Obviously, the other stuff, baskets and things that we have, a few different style necklaces, a lot of really beautiful things, aprons, dog bandanas. All those things have to be photographed and put up on the website, and some are available in Fairtrade Long Beach now. The purses brought back some magnets, some hand-painted magnets in the shape of Kenya or Africa. Really beautiful. They're at Fairtrade Long Beach. Some other baskets, a couple of those are there. So if you're in local, you can go there and check that out. Got some new skirts, some bigger skirts. I don't put those skirts online because they're limited quantities. We haven't gotten that far yet, but if somebody listening online is interested in a skirt, you can DM me. We can do a Zoom. I can show you what I have. I can do measurements. I'm happy to do that if you're interested. The aprons are beautiful. There's some denim, and there's some that are bright African prints, really nice. And the ladies are working hard on the dog bandanas. Those are really beautiful. So I'm excited to get all those products photographed. I have a model here somewhere, four-legged model, and she's quiet. She might be eating a plant. Great. That's all I need. Anyway, so we got a lot accomplished, met with all the kids that we're sponsoring. I'm going to do a blog post about that. So if you're interested in sponsoring some kids, and like I told the ladies, our goal isn't to pay their school fees forever. It's to get them into sustainable income. And so they can pay the school fees themselves. But in the meantime, because what happened with COVID and everything, we need to make sure that these kids are in school. There's two kids that I do separately that are total care, and then there's six kids from the ladies in Kipsongo slum that two of them are boarding and the rest are day school. So it's expensive. It's expensive, uniforms and all the supplies they make you bring. And if you don't show up, they'll turn you away and you can't go to school. So it's a challenge. So if you're interested in that, you can DM me. I'm going to do a full article on what we did with the kids. We got to visit with all of them. We took them shopping they have to have monthly shopping of things, especially the ones that board, like toilet paper, and you had to buy them a mattress and all their school uniforms, and all the supplies that, like washing soap and powder and toothbrush and toothpaste and all that stuff. So it's kind of total support. It's not just paying school fees, it's other stuff as well. So if you're interested in that, you can DM me or email me at eldonna@basketsandbeadskenya.com. Okay, so I have to tell you. So, okay, first of all, June 12th, no more COVID test required to enter the United States. You don't have to have a COVID test. Yay. Going over there, I was a Delta flight to Amsterdam, KLM flight to Nairobi, Delta flight to Portland, then Amsterdam, then KLM flight to Nairobi. And if you saw my posts, I got a Yotel in the Amsterdam airport because I had a 4-hour layover, and it's a little in-airport hotel. I took a shower, I relaxed, I refreshed. But right from Amsterdam to Nairobi, you had to wear a mask, and so KLM still had a mask requirement, but not in the Amsterdam airport. None of this makes any sense. So Delta didn't have a mask requirement, but KLM had one, but not in the airport. So I was totally confused. Anyway, so wore the mask, all that, whatever. Uh, Cleared customs pretty quick. Just my 2 of my bags didn't arrive. 2 of my bags did a tour of Amsterdam, so there were, like, almost 20 of us waiting for bags that didn't show up. Then there was this list of all these bags, and then you had to wait in line, get this form filled out. So my flight arrived at 10 o'clock. I was through customs like that, and I got 1 bag, and I was saying, "Oh, yeah, maybe the other 2 bags will come quickly." Never came. So it was like 1:30 by the time we got to, Layla's house, and, yeah, everybody's really tired, but that was that, and then, we did a lot of stuff there, went to the fabric district, it's Eastleigh, and it's amazing, just shop after shop after shop of beautiful fabrics. I loved it. It's like I started sewing when I was a kid. That's something my mom did, and I guess I always felt like, oh, maybe that's a connection to her. I made all my maternity clothes. I I made a lot of my daughter's dresses when she was little. So sewing, I've got an eye for fabric, and oh man, it's hard to resist. We bought a lot of fabric, and turned them all into beautiful things that you'll see soon. So the trip was phenomenal. We got a lot accomplished. We have a lot on the horizon. We're already planning next year's trip. That'll be another Swahili Sunday. And I'll be doing probably monthly information webinars for anybody who's interested, because there's been a lot of you who've said you're interested in going with me. And we already have next year planned. Layla and I sat down when we were in Mombasa, R&Ring, and we planned out what we're doing next year. So we're going to go back up to Mount Elgon and probably stay at Mount Elgon National Park, because there's a national park up there. And then we're also going to go to Lodwar, where the ladies are in Kipsongo are from. So, and have our women's conference there. So then obviously we'll do our tea party and our market day and all the things that go along with that. And then I think we have a couple other, a clinic. We're going to do a clinic at Mount Elgon. So we're already in the planning stages of that. So if you're interested, thing to do is to go to basketsandbeadskenya.com. Let me see if I have a thing here. Where's the thing? Oh, banners. There it is. So what you should do is go to basketsandbeadskenya.com. There'll be a little pop-up sign up for the email list, because I email only once a week, and it's just kind of like a rundown of what's going on. There's a product special. I don't over email, and like you're not going to get 500,000 emails saying buy, but you'll get information on the trip. So if you go to basketsandbeadskenya.com, that's where you can sign up and get the emails and get information on the trip, because it'll be here before you know it. It's next year this time we'll be going. So I'm excited for that. So I have to tell you, I hear my dog doing something crazy right now. Hey, you, off, inside. She's digging in the dirt. I'm working with her. Good off. Good Indigo. Okay. There she is. She's looking for something else to tear up. Okay, so like I said, June 12th, no more COVID tests required in the US. My flight was leaving 11:59 June 11th. Therefore, I had to have a COVID test. And we were in Mombasa, went to the hospital there. The doctor says, or the guy who's the technician or whatever, oh, it'll take up to 24 hours. Okay, up to. That means it could be before. At the 22-hour point, we're getting ready to leave Mombasa, and I hadn't gotten the test, and I thought, okay, it seems kind of strange. We go by the hospital, the lab tech's like, it's 24 hours. You still have 2 hours. We're working on it now. And then they tell the other guy in Swahili, there's 2 guys sitting there, oh, it'll only take half an hour. I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. So 2 hours go by, no COVID test. We call again. Oh, you'll get it in half an hour. I ended up getting it in an hour, because you had to have the COVID test in order to get into the airport, which I'm going to describe in a minute. Okay, so we're going to the airport. I have 4 bags. Now I get 3 bags, and I was flying business class, so I got 70 pounds and 3 bags. And I decide to pay for a 4th bag. It's $200. If I ship that much stuff, it'd be $600 easy, easy. So I'm saving a lot of money by not having to ship a big box of product. And I mean, I was packed. I was packed. And the thing I didn't do after action review, after the fact, what worked, what didn't, what could be improved for next time, was I didn't weigh the bags. We usually always weigh the bags, and I didn't weigh the bags. Well, 3 of them were overweight. Okay, so we go to the airport. I'm packed in like a sardine, and when you come up to the airport, there's a checkpoint, but anybody who's not driving has to get out and go through this checkpoint, and it's it's insane. Okay, so you do that, and then you get back in the car, you go up to the airport. There's a place that people who are helping people with their luggage can park, and there's police there. You check in with them and you tell them what's going on. Off, 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 good off. And you tell them what's going on, and then you can take the bags. So Manu, Layla's husband, helps me with the bags. We get up to the entrance to the airport. In order to get in the airport, you have to show your COVID test. Okay, here's my COVID test and affidavit that I don't have COVID. And then they let you in. Well, then you go in this entrance, and I was Sky Priority, so I'm going in the Sky Priority entrance. So then you have to have all your bags scanned, take the laptop out, take the shoes off, go through the scanner. And there's supposed to be somebody at the other end that you can pay to help you with the bags. But this guy was so, he looked at the amount of bags I had, and he was like, I am not helping you. So I ended up having 2 carts, and I'm trying to maneuver them over to the counter myself. And that was a little bit of a challenge. And so I get them up there, and they start weighing them. 3 of the bags are overweight by enough that I had a pile of stuff out of the bags in order to make them go. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with this stuff? How am I going to, I need to carry this on, right? So I go over to this place that does wrapping with saran wrap, and I'm like, can you help me wrap this so I can carry it on? And they say, they I have to buy a bag. So I buy a bag that's a carry-on size. It's a really nice bag. They start putting the stuff in there, and I'm starting to I'm starting to walk away. Well, this guy from Delta starts yelling at me, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, no, no, that's way too much. We need to go weigh this." So he put it all on. You're overweight. You need to check another bag. Okay, so first of all, when I checked in and pulled the stuff out, I had to pay for the other bag. You can't pay for it there. You have to go over here to another thing and pay for it. And that takes forever because she's talking to other people. Pay my $200. Then I'm trying to get this thing packed. And then this guy's yelling at me. So then I have to buy a bigger bag. Then I have to go back over and check it in. So I go back over and check it in. By this point, okay, the flight leaves at 11:59. I got there 2 hours before. I was pushing it. The airport is empty. There's a lot of flights leaving around that time. The airport, the check-in area is empty, and I'm starting to sweat, and I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because it's not like you're done there and then you just go up to your gate. Wait do you hear? It's like you got 50 million other places to check through. So then that bag gets checked. Then I have to go back over to pay for the bag. And she's like, it's $400. I'm like, no, it's not. It's 200. We have 2 bags. I already paid for one. Here's my receipt. And then so she's taking her time. Somebody comes up to talk to her, and I'm just looking down. I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? Oh, this is crazy. Finally gets done. So I got my 2 little carry-ons. Then you have to go over and clear customs. And it's not just they stamp your passport and go. So to come into the country, you have to do the fingerprints and the picture. To leave, you have to do the fingerprints and the picture. And this fingerprint thing, if you don't just put your hands on it just so, it beeps at you. So I had to do my right hand a couple times, and I had to do my left hand. Yes, Tabitha, praying for patience. I was like, oh Lord, help me. I'm so stressed. So I'm I finally clear there. Okay, great. Passport stamped. I go through. Then you go up this escalator. Then you have to go through another thing where all your stuff gets scanned. You pull the laptop out. You take your shoes off, put them all in the bat thing, and then it goes through, and then you have to put all that back together. And, I didn't even have time to stop by the duty-free shop. I mean, I wanted to stop by the duty-free shop, but I didn't have time because I'm looking on my boarding pass and they're already getting ready to board. So I know where the gate is. I'm shuffling to the gate. Okay, it's not just you walk, like in the US, you get through your one checkpoint and then you go to your gate. Well, you have to go through another line to get in the gate. So here you are at the gate. Thankfully, I was sky priority, so the line was shorter. And the guy's got to check not only your passport, your boarding pass, and your COVID test. Now, I wouldn't have gotten this far with the COVID test. I had to have it to enter the airport. So I'm over here and I'm like, okay, great. All right. So I'm in. No, no, you're not done yet. You're not done yet. You go around the corner and there's another woman that wants to see your boarding pass and your passport. Like, how many checkpoints do you have to get on the airplane? So I go through there and she's like, oh, do you have a mask? I'm like, oh, we have to wear a mask. No, let me take another one. So I took one. Thankfully, I will say nobody on the plane was wearing a mask, so I did not. And it's hard to breathe on an airplane with a mask. Anyway, so I'm in the gate area. Well, they're boarding business class, but all the coach class people have already gotten up and crammed themselves in line. And there's no way to get around them, so I have to swim through all these people because I'm like, I'm getting on this plane. I'm gonna calm down. I need to chill out, and I just was like, sweating because just the anxiety of it all. Um, so I get on the plane and everything's fine and fly to Amsterdam. And there was uh, I had a little over 2 hour, I think, layover. So I went to the KLM club and got a shower. And I stood there. It was a very big shower head, and I just stood there, just washing all that off. Um, I did have a little bit of anxiety on the flight from Amsterdam to Portland. I'm sure all the stress of that just kind of caught up, but I breathed through it and I was okay. But so I went to the rituals shop. So KLM has this really nice lotion and hand wash, and so I got this nice set in the airport and take it with me on the plane. You get to Portland. So Portland, anywhere you enter the US, um, you have to clear customs. And I had tried to book a change to my flight because I usually like to only go, I want to go to LAX. I don't want to stop somewhere because you have to get all your bags, go through customs, and then put them all back into this thing. And it's just crazy. But it was another $1,500 to change it. So I'm like, okay, I've already gotten enough, paid enough money. I'm not paying more. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna suck it up and do it. And we get to Portland, get off the plane, get my 5 bags and my 2 carry-ons, and I go. You go. I have global entry, so I can go to the fast lane. Just put my passport down. The thing prints out. You hand it to the guy. Then you go and you give the chick your bags, and they put it on the conveyor, and away you go. Well, I didn't realize that I was going to go through another checkpoint, like you're entering the airport, and uh, it then they're like, oh, we have some bad news. This lotion and stuff is over the weight limit. I'm like, I bought it in the airport. Well, you don't have a duty free receipt. They should have known that at the airport, blah blah blah, so they confiscated that, everything except the spray mist. And that was a gift from my son's girlfriend. She was picking me up, and I was kind of like, when I gave it to her, I'm like, well, this is all you get. I had a nice set for you, but they confiscated it. I was just like, then I read later that you can bring that stuff through, but you have to have it in the right kind of bag. I didn't have it in the right kind of bag, so they confiscated it. You got to take your laptop out, you got to take your shoes off, and settle. And I don't know why she's freaking out. Um, so then by this point, I'm just fried, and I still have 2 more hours on the plane. And then the flight's delayed, so I go up, I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go in the Delta Sky Lounge." And I show 'em my ticket. "Oh, I need to see your American Express business card." I'm like, I'm business class." "Oh, well, that's only international." And then I give it to her and she's like, "Oh, you're Platinum Sky Miles. Here, you don't ever have to do this again." I'm like, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, I just said to her, "I just want to go home." So I got an iced tea. I went to the bathroom. I sat down and then got on the plane and came home. Um, then I had to get my bags. All the bags arrived. Everything was fine. Went home, came home. I got home maybe, I don't know, 6:30 or something. And it 6:30 p.m., 7 p.m. And I just was kind of like, I'd like to stay up. I'd like to stay up. Forget it. Bam. I took a shower. I passed out. But then it took me a few days to get over the jet lag. But that was the adventure. It's always an adventure. I mean, there's so many checkpoints. Last year when I traveled, Indigo, Indigo, off. Last year when I traveled, you had to show your COVID test at every single checkpoint. This was only twice, but now you don't even need it. And then I had was 1 minute from not needing it at all, so it was crazy. Anyway, Indigo, Indigo, off, good off. So it was crazy. That was just crazy. So that was my adventure getting home. I'm home now, going through all the product. Yeah, gonna some of it's already, like I said, in Fairtrade Long Beach. We have to get it photographed online, and yeah, that's it. So Future Swahili Sunday, I'm going to talk about our project, see if I can get Layla on so we can discuss it, show some of the product. We got a lot of stuff going on here at Baskets and Beads. I'm excited about it, and uh, now I have to now I have to head to church. So gonna go to church, see Top Gun today, and that's gonna have a great weekend. And you probably hear Indigo barking in the background. I have no idea what she's barking at. So I'm going to go get her, settle her down, and head to church. All right, everybody, thanks for listening and have a great week. Nakupenda.